Not every guest on This Morning ends up being agreeable. Welcome to WatchMojo UK, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 most heated Holly Willoughby moments. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we'll be looking at the most intense and controversial interviews Holly has ever been involved in. Number 10 versus coronavirus negligence.
Do you feel like everybody else is looking for loopholes left, right and centre, and if they're going to do it, then I'm going to do it? I'm not going to be the idiot that sits in. Is that the problem?
Few people in the UK are happy with the government's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic, and both of this morning's main presenters are among the many critics. During a segment on a public address from Boris Johnson in May, Holly made her problems with the lockdown lifting known, criticising the lack of guidance about over 70s and public use of masks at the time, as well as whether it's safe to send kids back to school.
This is my Chester, and I'm telling you, there is no way he would be able to socially distance himself 2 metres from his best friend Arthur.
But she also appeared in the news after calling a lockdown breaker stupid live on air. A woman called up to say her partner had put her mother, who is 74, in danger by going to visit.
I can't believe how stupid he was to actually go and sit with her for half an hour.
I totally understand where you're coming from.
Number 9 versus Angela Epstein.
By the same degree, I don't leave my back door open because there's a chance somebody will break in.
Following the results of a poll that said large numbers of people believed women's clothes are to blame for sexual assault, 2 guests of opposite positions were welcomed onto the show. There was Alison Phillips, who believes that sexual assault is the responsibility of only the criminal, and Angela Epstein, who believes that women could prevent attacks by covering up.
What is the question, isn't it?
Okay, what about the 10% that don't know who they are?
Holly points out the many flaws in Epstein's argument, like who decides when a skirt is too short and a woman is at risk. Despite Holly and Alison arguing with her, Epstein won't back down from her position.
A safe environment is different to what you're wearing in the same way you wouldn't necessarily walk down an alley on your own, or you wouldn't.
That's why I said it's a collision of circumstances.
Number 8 versus Tradwife.
Sort of put on a bit of a false impression towards him, like he was the sort of faux feminist, if you like.
Well, I wouldn't say a faux feminist. I would say I am a feminist because I believe feminism to be about choices.
Elena Petit came on the show to shed light on a growing subculture, the so-called traditional wives, who want to go back to the strict gender roles of the 1950s.
But by supporting him, are you saying that his role is more important? I just think it's that language, isn't it? When you have to go and ask if you can buy this sofa, or when you have to go and ask something.
She's a housewife and a stay-at-home mum who quit her job in London so she could go back in time. She even dresses like the 50s. While Holly understands it's any woman's right to choose how she lives, she still has questions. She asks about how the power balance works, has to ask permission before she buys anything, and whether she dresses up just to please her husband.
It's budgeting. It's wise budgeting and frugality.
You're in charge of the household,
but I'm not going to take a large swathe of money to buy a fancy handbag for myself. Do you know what I mean? So.
Number 7 versus Cheryl Prudham.
So do you agree, though? You must agree that there is a problem with the way that it works.
Dubbed Britain's most shameless mum, at the time of recording in 2016, Cheryl Prudham had 12 kids with a 13th on the way and was claiming £40,000 a year in benefits. Prudham says she's addicted to having babies, but maintains that she isn't doing anything wrong.
That person with a young carer, their child is equally as important to them, but they haven't got that money. Because where's it going? Into your pocket.
She says she only claims the benefits anyone else in her position would have access to. But the thing Holly really takes issue with is Prudham getting a boob job and taking her kids on expensive holidays. Holly thinks that £40,000 could be spent on better things, and even asks Prudham how she manages to sleep at night.
Do you think about that? that a little bit?
Not really, no. I think about my kids and my family and that's it.
Number 6, this is Megan Foy.
You clearly are a bright young woman. Surely you cannot believe in what you have written. This must all be a ploy just to sell this book.
American author Megan Foy came on the show to argue that all women, including those who are single and aren't actually pregnant, should be able to take maternity leave, called maternity. Foy suggesting women take months off work on a sabbatical, taking self-care to the extreme.
You have to describe maternity leave as a sort of sabbatical, suggesting that we all just go and put our feet up.
No, I want to set the record straight. I do not think that maternity leave is a sabbatical at all.
It all stems from Foy being annoyed when actual pregnant women took real maternity leave to recover from childbirth and look after their newborns. Holly, a mother of 3 herself, clearly thinks this is ridiculous and that Foy is just trying to stir up trouble and sell books.
Do you reckon that maybe your choice of phrase, the word, that name, just, it's pretty explosive, isn't it?
Number 5, this is Anne Widdecombe.
Well, many women would say that that's just not the case, that that's just not true, that pay gap that you've talked about is still very relevant today.
One of the country's most divisive figures, Anne Widdecombe joined Holly and Phil to express more of her controversial opinions, this time about how much she hates the #MeToo movement. She says the women speaking out in the movement are whining, most of the cases aren't serious, and that the gender pay gap is a myth.
Hasn't that given women a voice finally, one that has been suppressed for such a long time, one that needed to come out, that actually globally has made such a huge difference?
No, I do not believe that. As I say, that I'm about to tell you, if you just have the patience.
Holly's not having any of it and disagrees with Widdecombe on every single point, saying that the movement and other feminist movements have made great advances for women. Widdecombe won't let Holly speak her mind, however, and repeatedly cuts her off.
The #MeToo movement is a bit stronger than that, isn't it? It's not, I think...
I've already conceded the serious cases, you heard me say that.
Number 4, this is Martin Daubney.
You're breastfeeding mum and you go to a restaurant. Is it better there? Would people be less put off if you just let your baby scream and cry and be hungry?
Should women be allowed to breastfeed in public? One man, Martin Daubney, thinks not. After photos of a woman breastfeeding at her own wedding were released, he came on to plead his case. He says that women should cover up if they have to breastfeed in public, and that he feels excluded by women breastfeeding around him.
But there were boobs everywhere, boobs on the front cover. I mean, I couldn't walk into a shop without seeing boobs, page 3. There they are. I don't understand that.
Holly points out his hypocrisy, however, because Daubney used to work on notoriously explicit lads mags, and that it's not always practical for a mother to take the time to cover up while a hungry baby is crying. Holly just can't get to the bottom of why Daubney takes such an issue with breastfeeding.
Also, the baby's head's there.
Well, exactly.
I mean, you've sort of got a patch me, but you've got the natural fact that the baby's head is covering the majority of what's there.
Number 3, this is Jo Marnie.
Well, you described the situation there as a nest of illegal immigrants. Understandably, lots of people very offended by those statements.
The girlfriend of ex-UKIP leader Henry Bolton made headlines when some private messages she sent came out. The messages contained hugely offensive statements about Meghan Markle, the tragic Grenfell Tower fire, and the victims of Harvey Weinstein.
This was before I was ever in the public eye. I never thought...
It doesn't matter, does it?
I mean, your
doesn't
choice
matter.
of language, whether you were in the public eye or whether you were just a human being.
Marnie insists that she meant what she said, but didn't mean to cause offence, though she still doesn't seem to have much remorse, despite apologising. When her own words are read back to her, all she can say is that she agrees the comments weren't nice. Marnie tries to say everybody sends messages like that in private, and Holly insists that she's never done anything of the sort.
But who can realistically say that they've never said anything offensive in private?
I've never said anything like that in my life.
Number 2, this is the Burka Ban.
It's my own personal spiritual journey. I believe it's my own way to connect with God.
In 2017, UKIP pledged to try and ban the burqa. 2 Muslims with opposing views Sahar Al-Faifi, and Dr. Taj Haji came on the show. Al-Faifi believes that women should have the choice and shouldn't be discriminated against for wearing a burqa, while Dr. Haji thinks Muslim women shouldn't have to wear a burqa if they're living in the UK.
Should we ever be told, regardless of whether it's something to do with religion or whatever it's to do with, should we ever be told, oh, you can or can't?
Holly is firmly on the side that what a woman wears is her choice, but the debate gets complicated. As Haji says, many Muslim countries have banned the burqa and it isn't mentioned in the Quran, though Al-Faifi disagrees.
I meet her tomorrow, would I know who she is?
Well, yes, because you met her today.
No, I would not know who she is. I'm afraid, in fact, the same would apply.
Number 1 versus Katie Hopkins.
Are your opinions not really restricting your children?
They are, but you know what?
But why would you do that?
Though Katie's suggestion that geographical names are ridiculous, prompting Phil to point out her daughter is called India, is the most infamous part of this argument. It began as a long and controversial debate about class. Katie's saying that the name of a child informs her whether that child is of a low class, deciding that if a kid has a working class name, they're probably a bad influence and she won't let her children play with them.
Really?
I don't believe
I'm a working class girl.
I don't buy
you must have missed out so much in your life if you don't see that as being...
All together, ladies, you're all talking together.
I can't help but get involved.
Holly points out that Katie's rules are damaging her children, which, to Holly's shock, Katie freely admits. The look on Holly's face as the argument rages says it all.
But I think you've chosen beautiful names for your children, and I would never think to judge them by that.
I do judge children by their names.
That's
I do make assumptions, and lots of other parents do.
Listen to what you're saying. You judge children.
Yes.
On their names.
Yes, Holly.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo UK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.